Hello and welcome to the writing classroom. I'm so glad you've shown up. We're tied together in this enormous place by our words, and it's the words that we choose and the words that we weave and craft into sentences that become our enormous community story. And there are more children every single day from all over the world, and you are most welcome. And why are we here? Well, we're here to get better. And let me tell you, your writing is super impressive at the moment. My name is Mrs. C, and I'm here to help you get better at writing. Some things we do quickly, some things we do slowly, but over time, and I'm starting to see that as I read your work, our language choices become more precise. Now, just so you know how this rolls, we've got our own jingle, and it goes like this. Pens up, think at pace, jot quick, writing's ace. And we jot in a certain place, and we do that quite quickly, and then we write in another place on our page. I tell you what, I found it really difficult to choose yesterday, really difficult. But who has made it to the celebration board? It is Rojan. And Rojan is 10, and they've won the Deepen the Moment diploma. Their writing is laid out exactly how is useful for thinking, chunked down so that we're really effective. They've got an excellent thinking side and a writing side, but they win specifically the Deepen the Moment diploma. Look at this. This was the most peculiar place of bits and pieces. And then look here, she has deepened. She's deepened using the lens of smell, one of them from the Fantastics. And look at this, a smell like dustbin dust wafted up my nose and gave it a tingle. Really excellent, precise writing. Well done, Rojan. Okay, who's made it to the super sentence stacking board? Well, we've got Tippy in year 3 from St. Stephen's, and they've done an excellent job of that pairing of nouns and the cinematic zoom in. Look at this. It was a world of corridors and offices, doors and desks, files and forms. Love that, Tippy. And then Caitlin, you're in year 5, and thank you, Dad, Mike Barkley. The superb style of your writing because of the vocabulary you're choosing. I couldn't help but notice you're bizarre, you're sombre, you're petrified. And Robin, in year 2, wowzers, you win the powerful dialogue prize. Look at this. Really good command, really urgent. A voice muttered, "Take it back." Oh, superb stuff. Right then, let's get ready for writing. Let's make sure that we have our space for all of our thinking, our gathering, putting things in the vocabulary vault. That's the thinking side, which is organised into 3 learning chunks, cut in half so you create 6 word banks over the lesson. The writing side, and remember, everybody, on your writing side, we are building a paragraph of writing. Off you go, get ready. Right then, so every time we write, we have steps to success to lead our writing, and these are guiding our thinking. We have chosen 3 areas, 3 lenses, as it were, from the writing rainbow. And we've got this lens here where we're going to be working on specific parts of punctuation. So we're going to be using a question mark because we're asking rhetorical questions. This is going to be new for some of us. We're going to be choosing prepositions and building them into phrases because we want lots of direction words in our writing today. And thirdly, we're going to build a complex sentence using a relative clause. Now, I don't want anybody to worry. I don't want anybody to worry if you don't know about this. I'm here to help you and you'll work under the wings of my model, and I'm here to hold your hand and walk you through. Okay, so on the map of writing, where are we? We're just here. We're at this plot point. It's plot point 6, and we are taking us because we are being Sean, aren't we? We're writing a first person narrative. We're using pronouns like me and I and my, and we're at this moment here. Now this is quite dark here on our map, but I'm letting you know that even though we were very low yesterday, we're moving upwards to a more positive aspect. This is the moment where, after the business card, the small card is handed over. Sean looks closely at it and it's got a message for him. A message for him and the lost thing. And they go on a long journey. And that long journey and the signs on the card take them to a place that actually begins to be very intriguing indeed. I want you to look closely at the journey, where they go on the journey, all the different places across the city. And then at the very end of the journey, what is the strange little thing that happens?
Eventually, we found what seemed to be the right place, in a dark little gap off some anonymous little street. The kind of place you'd never know existed unless you were actually looking for it.
Okay, what we're going to do now is think about our writing in two parts. We're going to put in words the journey across the city. And then a bit later, we're going to talk about the strange, intriguing, mechanical creature. But first things first, we've got to join up yesterday's writing with today's writing. And how we're going to start is thinking about that business card, because remember, we drew that into our story and they were excellent. We need now the writing to carry on. And what we're going to do is ask some questions. We're going to imagine we are Sean and we've got that card in our hand. What questions could pop in our mind? What questions could we ask of ourselves and actually the reader? To help our thinking in Word Bank 1 now, we're going to gather words that help generate questions, and I've organised them into 3 areas. Words that begin with W, and these can help us ask questions. Words like who, and I know there are more. Other words that can begin questions, words like how. And then there are modal verbs that can ask questions. And I'm going to write down one now. And I'm going to let you know there are two more in this family and they rhyme. Would. I wonder if you can work out what they are. Okay, Jotters, I'm going to give you 45 seconds to come up with as many words as you can that could start a question. Okay, I'm going to add some more to this list now, and that's your chance to check if you've got them in your word bank. If you haven't, you can borrow my ideas and add them in. That's what audit and add is. But I've just had another idea down here. Look, would, I'm going to write these in. Should, could. This is also a modal verb. Can, may. I've had another idea. Is. That's often missed out. Okay, let's now add more to our list. I want your thinking now to be hooked onto you as Sean, you as the central character, and you're looking at that business card. And these questions are in your mind. These are rhetorical questions. You don't expect an answer from them. It's part of the puzzlement and confusion. And as you look at that card, you're thinking, actually, look here, what is it trying to tell me? You might be thinking, where does it want me to go? Now, tell and go are okay, but let's do some thesaurus thinking. Other ways to say that locked in the card, it's trying to speak to us or say something. And what is it trying to tell us? And another way to talk about, well, where you should go. This is the sort of thing I mean. It's almost words in these synonym families. So what is the meaning of this card? What is the significance of this card? Or where does it want me to go? What way should I go? What direction should I take? I want you to think about journey words or message words. Oh, I think I've given you 2 clues there. Off you go, Jotters. Okay, so I'm going to add some more words now. Words like, what is the message of this card? That's a good one. Or, what course does it want me to take? Okay, let's audit and add. Okay, let's now move to writing side. And when I move over to writing side, you're going to see my thinking. Sometimes it can be a bit messy and I change my mind. I'm going to start the writing and I want you to do the same with some rhetorical questions. We're not expecting an answer. We feel puzzled as the central character, and we're going to use question marks to drop these questions into the writing. I might pick up this question word like this. Why? Why have I been given this card? Or is this for me? But I want to try and get these ideas through as well. What is it trying to tell me? Where should I go? Let me take this word, what. I'm going to start with that. What is the significance of this? What is it trying to explain? I might need to change my writing if I use that one. What is the meaning of this? Question mark. I'm going to now put in another question. Let's see if I can use a modal verb. Should, that might work. Let's have a go. Should I try to take this path? Should I try to follow the signs? Should I try to follow this path? They're all good. 2 questions. Now, I seem to have some time on my hands here, and I'm going to use this opportunity to deepen the moment. And I've just been thinking actually about deepen the moment, and when you want to deepen, a really good place to start is the ideas of writing. Did you know there are 9 ideas for writing? And they're here, look. They are feeling, dialogue, the sense of sight, touch, action, smell, taste, inner thought and sound. And it doesn't matter who you are as an author, you can only write about those 9 things. You can only push your ideas through those 9 lenses. So when I want to deepen, that's where I start. That's where I start my thinking. Could I say more about how it makes me feel? I was puzzled and confused by this. Or I could say something like, the how I respond in terms of action straight away. Quickly, I decided to, walk down the path. But what I'm going to do now, actually, is take this idea, inner thought, and I want to drop in now some ideas about how and what I'm thinking about, and that's what I'm going to deepen through. It's about my thinking. Thoughts raced in my mind. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the word cliche, but cliche means when it's quite commonly written or spoken, particularly this bit, raced. It's because it's when ideas are moving around our mind. Now, I like this idea of movement, but I'm going to see if I can do a piece of writing that is less obvious, less hackneyed. And I was thinking about other sorts of movements. And it made me think of, when a tea bag goes into water and all the colour starts moving around, when it starts brewing and seeping and oozing. And that seems to be sort of how I'm feeling now with looking at this business card. So I'm going to take one of those idea, leaked, trickled, seeped. Oh, I like that. Thoughts seeped in my mind about, and then it's about everything that's happened so far, about things that are lost, things that are lonely, how to get something that is lost back home, about forgotten things. That's a nice word for lost. Forgotten things. Actually, friendship, because I've made friends with this weird lobster, crazy octopus, boiler, metal covered creature. Friendship and helping others belong. It's almost like the big theme so far in this film. I'm going to read that back. What is the meaning of this? Should, oh look, mistake. Yeah, good job I reread that. Should I try to follow this path? Thoughts seeped in my mind, seeped into my mind, I'm going to put. I think it's much better if I write that. Seeped into my mind about forgotten things, friendship, and helping others belong. Use this opportunity wisely now. Get your 2 questions in. And if you feel you can deepen, see if you can choose one of the ideas of writing to say more about the moment. Off you go, writers. Okay, we're moving on now to learning chunk 2, and this is when the journey begins. We're going to walk through the city, Sean and the lost thing together, you and the lost thing together. And we're going to focus now on prepositions. Prepositions are types of words that have the word, actually, look here, if you look closely at this word, it's got the word position, and they are direction words. So we're going to collect all the different words, and I want you to imagine you're walking through the city and all the different places you can go. The sort of things I mean are words like this: over. You could go over the bridge. You could go behind the buildings. You could go next to the railway track. They're my 3 ideas. I wonder how many you can get as you think about up, under, through. I don't want to give too many away, jotters. Off you go. What about these 2 ideas? Look, under the arches, besides the building. Let's audit and add, everybody. Right then, let's now move to word bank 2. We need to get ready for writing, and we're walking through this environment. The environment is a cityscape, but we want to create actually a monotonous, grey, dirty environment. The thing we were doing at the beginning of our writing, where the beach is honey, golden and positive, but the wall represents the world of work, the world of drudgery. So let's now add in some negative adjectives. And I've got some parts of the environment to help you. If you look here at the pictures, we've got an alleyway, a factory, a building, barbed wire fence, a bridge and a railway track. I want you to choose 3, no more than 3, and then think about descriptions that could darken the atmosphere further. I've chosen factories, railway track and alleyway. Let me think about factories first. I want to think about negative intent language. They're very tall, and actually, because they're so tall, they kind of look a little bit oppressive. I'm going to write foreboding, the foreboding factories, and I'm going to also write this idea down, that they churn out a lot of pollution. I'm going to write that word down, churning. And the railway track, well, it's disused, it's overgrown, been abandoned, deserted. I'm going to write deserted down. They're my ideas. Okay, you've not got long, but choose an environment or two and see if you can add some negative words. Some of your ideas might not even be adjectives. You get into phrases and bigger ideas because look at this, a skyline of chimneys. I want to write that down in my factory section. But here as well, for alleyway, I haven't come up with any ideas yet, but this is a good one. The dustbin lined alleyway. Or I might want to write just the word grimy or grubby. That's a good word, the grubby alleyway. Well, that other idea, where you have takeaways because people might have been partying last night and had a takeaway, and there's all these kind of relics of rubbish blowing around. Some of your ideas might get quite big there. That'd be really interesting. Let's audit and add. Well done, everybody. Okay, let's now join these two ideas together. That walking through the city, and then where we're walking using prepositions over, through, next to, around, and taking us to different parts. I want us to have in our journey 3 different places. So I want us to think about that. That's why I got you to plan for that with factories, railway track and alleyway. Okay, let's move to writing side now as we join up the prepositions, where we're walking, and these 3 parts of the city. I'm going to make it obvious what's happening to the reader now that we're going on the journey. So let me start with that. The business card. You might call it the business card. You might call it the small card, the intriguing card. The business card took us on a journey through the city. And I know there are some of you who are going to switch that up and add in extra information there, more negative language. We walked. Now notice the prepositions as they come in. We walked through, so I need something I can walk through. Oh, look, I've already used through here. let's not have that. Let me change it. Okay, we walked across. Let me have that instead. There's only certain things I can walk across, so I have to think about that. I can walk across a bridge. Oh look, I could walk across the railway track. We walked across, and then I'm going to drop a negative adjective. We walked across the disused, abandoned, they're all good, railway track. And now I'm going to carry on. I'm going to use a comma and do my journey list-like to get to the second area. Oh, I don't think I've got this on my ideas, but down is a really good preposition. Down the alleyway, I could have that. But I like this idea of steps. I remember steps in the film. Down the deep concrete steps. I'm going to change that to dark. I think it's more atmospheric. Down the dark concrete steps. And then this is the final part of the journey, the third area. So I'm going to put in an and above. That's hard to use. What about next? Yeah, I'll use that. And next to the factory, I want to say factory. I'm not going to have plural, I'm just going to have one factory. Next to the pollution churning, pollution pumping. That's good. Pollution pumping factory. Oh, I could put a full stop there, but actually I think it'd be really good if we write a really long sentence, almost impressing on the reader how long the journey is, until, let's extend it further, let's make this really long, until we found a big metal door. I'm going to do some instant thesaurus thinking here with the word big. I'm going to imagine there's a shadometer in my mind, because I could have big, just so you can see my thinking. This is what I'm imagining in my head. Big, large, oversized, immense, hefty, huge. Oh, I like oversized. Feels a bit like Alice in Wonderland. But it's interesting because in the film there's two doors, isn't there? There's the really big metal door and there's a smaller door. I can focus on one or the other. I'm going to focus on the big door first, I think, until we found a huge metal door. Okay, writers, I want you to write for me 2 sentences. The first one is to set the scene about the journey through the city. Then there's more detail, but I want a really long sentence. A long sentence laced with negativity, taking your journey to 3 very specific parts using prepositions. Off you go, writers. Okay, let's move now to learning chunk 3. And where I want our thinking to be here is to the little door. It's really dark in the film here now, and it's through the little door a shaft of light appears, and there is this strange mechanical mouse, almost much smaller than we imagine a mouse to be. It seems living but part robotic, a very mechanical and intriguing creature indeed. And I want our writing to focus on this. I want us to think about the size of the mouse itself and the size of its wings and the appearance of it. Let's start in word bank 1, thinking about other words in a synonym family for small. I'm going to write down small to get my ideas going. But what about this word? Minute. Minute. A minute mouse. They're my ideas. Jotters, can you add 2 more to this list? Isn't it interesting? I think it's interesting that this can spell minute or minute, and they mean completely different things. A minute of time, 60 seconds, or minute, something really tiny. Oh, I've given an idea away there. Let me write down tiny. Let's audit and add and see if we can come up with any more. I'm now thinking about the wings very specifically, and I want you to use your imaginations as well. I want you to imagine the wings like maybe fairy wings, or even that they might have kind of a metal component. So part fairy-like, part machine maybe. And it's those 2 ideas I want to think about now. What could be other ways that I can talk about the thinness of the wings or the metalness of the wings? Thin, this is a good word, look. Fragile. The fragile, thin wings of the mechanical mouse. Or the word wire, the wire wings. Or the foil wings. What about delicate wings? Isn't that really clever? It's almost like it's called an oxymoron, where you have kind of 2 ideas that are pulling in different directions, you know, thin, delicate, fragile, and then metal that we often associate with hard and tough, but it's a different sort. Interesting. Okay, jotters. Can you add any more ideas? Let's look at these words here, look. Flimsy, delicate. But this is my favourite one. I often use it when I want to describe fairies in stories, gossamer wings, or silvery, or mechanical. I'm going to write the word wind up, as in like a wind up mechanism. I'm going to write that idea down. I'm going to move now straight over to Word Bank 2 without doing an audit and add. You can borrow some of those words because they're quite tricky, actually. And now I want us to think about the mouse in terms of its movement. Its movement, and we're going to get inspired by other things in nature, actually, and we're going to think about 2 ideas for writing. So, other things in nature. I want us to gather verbs that are in the past tense, and these need to end either with an ed, and these are our regular verbs, or if they don't end in ed, we still need them in the past tense, and this gives us consistency across our work. But what's going to inspire us are these 4 ideas. I want us to think about how butterflies move, and that can inspire our writing. Words like floated. I want us to think about not just any bird, actually, a kingfisher. Kingfishers hover, pulsate, hang in the air. I like this word, lingered. I want us to think actually about how the mouse might be feeling, because think how small it is and then it suddenly sees you and the lost thing. So it might be a bit nervous, and we could show that. We could show that feeling like this, shivered. Or we could represent the sound of the mechanical mouse. We could have word. Isn't it interesting how we can get inspired by other ideas that can kick our thinking into generating vocabulary? Okay, you've not got long, but I do want you to think about butterflies, kingfishers, feelings and sounds. Off you go, jotters. Okay, I'm going to add some more words here now. Look at this. The butterfly drifted. I'm borrowing that idea from butterflies to apply to the mechanical mouse. Or the kingfisher hovered. Let's audit and add now, and you add more too. Right, let's now move to writing side. But let me tell you straight, this is not easy today. We're going to build a relative clause, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So, first things first, I want us to write a really short sentence. This is a very simple sentence and it's got one clause in it because it'll have one verb in it. And this sentence is introducing the mouse. I'm going to write this sentence. A white mouse appeared. It's short, it's simple. Appeared is the verb, one clause. Now, I'm going to use that idea to write a second sentence that includes an embedded relative clause. Now, where I'm going to drop it, this extra information, is just here. And I'm going to drop in the extra information in between two commas. It's this sort of thing. A white mouse. Then I'm going to put in a comma. Then I'm going to insert some extra detail about the mouse. And then I'm going to put another comma in and drop in the word appeared. So, I can add in any extra information I want, and I want to probably use some of my wonderful ideas here about the small wings or the fragile wings, or maybe the metalness or how it moves. I've got lots of ideas to choose from. I'm going to practice some relative clauses down here, and this is my practice section, and they're going to begin with the word which. Okay, so I'm thinking about the mouse, adding in extra detail. Which had, and I love this word here, fragile, and I like flimsy together, fragile and flimsy. I actually like delicate and dainty. Which had fragile and flimsy wings. Or here's another practice, which was mechanical. Rushing. Let's mechanic. Now that's really tricked me. Let's see, mechanical. When I get stuck, I sound the smallest of sounds out so that I'm more certain how it's spelled, which was mechanical and miniature. Both of those ideas work. I think I'm going to use this one. A white mouse, which was mechanical and miniature, appeared. Now, what I'm going to do is take away some of these words here so I don't over repeat myself. A wind-up mouse, which was mechanical and miniature, hovered near our feet. I'm going to read that back. A white mouse appeared. A wind-up mouse, which was mechanical and miniature, hovered near our feet. I want you, please, to write me 2 sentences. One of them is short and simple and has one verb. And then I want you to write me a second sentence. You can build it like I did. You can practice your which relative clause. But remember, you put in your extra information in between two commas. Which was, which had. Off you go. Great work, everybody. I'm going to read my work back now. We've written quite a lot today, and there's a few little things I just want to change because rather than in my mind, remember I had into my mind, and deep I changed to dark, and dainty mouse. Oh, a dainty mouse. I had a wind up mouse, which was mechanical and miniature. Okay, let's read that back. What is the meaning of this? Should I try to follow this path? Thoughts brood. I didn't have that. Thoughts seeped. What is the meaning of this? Should I try to follow this path? Thoughts seeped into my mind about forgotten things, friendship, and helping others belong. The business card took us on a journey through the city. We walked across disused railway track, down the dark concrete steps, and next to the pollution pumping factory until we found a huge metal door. A white mouse appeared. A wind-up mouse, which was mechanical and miniature, hovered near our feet. Well, this is going to be cracking today, writers. I can't wait to read your work, and I know there's going to be phenomenal entries. If you want me to read your work, hashtag English with Mrs. C. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook, and remember to subscribe to my channel. Then you'll know when I'm in the classroom and we're here together, getting better together. Thank you, everybody. I can't wait to read your work, and I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place, 9:45. Until then, goodbye.